Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're continuing on the series with the best SDS rotary hammers. And on this episode, we're going to be taking a look at this big bad boy right here, which is the 1 1/8 inch SDS Plus Rotary Hammer M18 FUEL from Milwaukee Tool, and this is their 2915 model with one key, okay? So the reason I'm calling this the big bad boy is mainly because just look at it, right? Compared to the other SDS rotary hammers we've tested so far on this channel in this series, this one definitely seems like the bigger and badder one, right? And I can definitely tell you from using it, it definitely feels like it has a lot of raw power, okay? So if you use a lot of SDS hammers, or if you're interested in this tool and you're going to figure out how this tool stacks up against other SDS Plus rotary hammers, stick with us. This right here is an M18 FUEL 1 1/8 inch SDS Plus Rotary Hammer with one key. This is the next generation of the cordless rotary hammers, delivering the ultimate job site performance and productivity. This M18 FUEL rotary hammer is the fastest drilling and the hardest hitting rotary hammer in its class, with Milwaukee AUTOSTOP for enhanced safe drilling. Okay, so we're actually going to put that to the test, so let's test that later and find out. This one has the POWERSTATE Brushless Motor, which delivers up to 3.6 foot-pounds of impact energy, 800 RPM and 4600 BPM. This provides you the most power and speed for the most demanding applications. And as all Milwaukee M18 FUEL tools have, this has the REDLINK Lithium Plus intelligence technology, has the Lithium Plus batteries, and if you equip it with the XC high output batteries, it delivers up to 50% more power and runs 50% cooler. This tool, besides having the one stop or the auto stop, has the one key, and it also has the AVS anti-vibration minimizing system for maximum comfort. Okay, this tool weighs a whopping 8.9 pounds and is backed by Milwaukee's 5-year warranty. All right, so this is a big tool here, so let's go around here and start from the front. Right here is the SDS chuck. It's a twist insert lock chuck. It's a SDS Plus chuck technically, but as most people know, it'll take standard SDS bits, which you can, if you can even find them nowadays, but SDS Plus bits, okay? It does not work with SDS Max bits because those bits are just bigger in diameter and will just not fit here, okay? It's standard chuck, works pretty well. You pull back on the collar to eject, pretty standard here, okay? On this tool, you have this, what do you call this, a plastic side handle, and it cinches down on the tool. It sits on this tool using this metal ring, and then whenever you get it to the position you want to get it to, you just turn it and then clamps down on it, and this metal ring cinches down on this tool, which is, you know, pretty much infinitely adjustable to wherever you want to put it, okay? And since you're putting pressure on the tool when you're using it, hopefully not too much pressure, let the tool do the work, it's going to be pretty solid. It's not going to go anywhere. Although I do want to point out this plastic here is entirely power tool plastic, so you know, take that with a grain of salt. But it also has this depth rod system, which is the lever type system as we've seen in most all Milwaukee tools, but it does come with one when you do buy it, whether you buy it as a kit or a tool only, it doesn't matter. It's going to come with the depth rod, okay? The other thing I want to point out on here is that unlike other tools we've seen so far in this series, this metal ring cinches down not only on this collar here, but this collar is equipped with this plastic bushing type feel, right? It's almost like a protector for the actual collar that's in here that's metal, right? So the main idea behind this, I would assume, is to mainly protect the metal housing or the gear housing that's kind of in this part of the tool. So I'm assuming over a lot of use over time, this could probably get chafed up or whatnot. It may have some wear and tear on it, but it is nice that they decided to protect the metal part on here with a little piece of plastic from the metal that cinches down on it. Okay, so that's something to point out. All right, so just in case you didn't realize you're using a Milwaukee tool, it's going to say Milwaukee on this handle on two sides, because it's going to say it on this side and then also this side, and it'll even say it right here. Right, so it's going to say Milwaukee on a few sides, okay? So moving the handle around here, there is an LED light right here that does come on and stays on after you activate the tool, as you can see. So that's a nice touch to have there. And as I pointed out in most of these videos. On the ones with the drop motor style, the LED light seems to work better because it seems to be closer to the working surface, okay? So let's get this handle out of the way here and move around to the side. You know, just in case, like I said, you forget you're using a Milwaukee tool, it's gonna say in big letters right here. And to make sure you know you're using the best in class, it's gonna say fuel here, and it'll also say fuel there, okay? So on this other side, the important things to point out is mainly that this one has AVS in 2 locations, or at least shock absorbing systems in 2 locations, which is gonna be one at the top here and one at the bottom here. And both of them are functional shock absorbers. As you can see here, they both move, which is different than the other tools we've seen so far with AVS from Milwaukee, which only has the shock dampening system up here at the top part and not the bottom, okay? So because this one allegedly hits harder and then works faster and has more power, you probably need, you know, more user comfort to reduce the vibrations the user is feeling. So that's an important thing to point out. Also on here, as you can see, it's a 1-finger trigger. It's not a 2-finger trigger, 1-finger trigger. And in my experience, for whatever reason, if you're using like the thin gloves, every once in a while, when you press all the way in on it, it can kind of get caught right here, right where the trigger meets the plastic. But it doesn't happen too often, but you know, just use like thicker leather gloves or whatnot and you'll be fine. Also, it is a 1-key. We're not going to talk too much about 1-key, but you can customize it, connect with the phone, with the 1-key system, Bluetooth. You can change settings and you can even secure it in some kinds of ways, but we're not going to talk too much about that, okay? The other thing to point out on here, as we point out in the other fuel video, the episode before this, is that this little metal part you see in here, or these 2 little dots, are actually metal inserts that are on the inside of this slide rail to stiffen it up and help it for durability. So, you know, that's pretty standard, especially for the Milwaukee heavy duty tools, right? So also this handle right here is completely black rubber overmolded, right? The handle, I'm assuming inside is probably still plastic, but this rubber overmold here, pretty standard Milwaukee grip, okay? Other than that, you don't have too much stuff going up on here besides, you know, just in case you want to know, AVS anti-vibration system. Pretty standard forward and reverse switch. But while we have you here, let's go ahead and talk about the variable speed trigger. So check out the variable speed on this trigger action here. Move it forward. All right, so it's a pretty good trigger, responds pretty well. Since we have you here and you saw the light, let's go ahead and look at the light here. So there are 2 LEDs on this tool right here that say one is for the 1-key, right? So depending on, every once in a while it will pop up. So this blue light that comes on is pretty much saying 1-key is working, and this red light here is what you call for auto stop being activated. So auto stop being activated, it pretty much means the tool has sensed feedback or like torquing action from the tool and cut off the power to the tool to prevent the user from getting hurt, right, or damaged, right? So let's say you're using the tool, right? And it kicks back because you bind up in, let's say, rebar or whatever you're messing with, right? You saw right there, the LED light was blinking. Even though the trigger is still pressed, nothing's happening, as you can see here, right? So that's what that red light auto stop really means. It is a nice feature to have, especially if you're drilling in a lot of concrete, because if they poured a lot of that right, you know, there's going to be a lot of rebar in there and you probably run into some kickback. So on the back side here, not too much stuff going on here, pretty much the same side as the other side, except without all the Milwaukee marketing stuff on here. On the top side, you got M18, like I said, just in case you forgot you're using an M18 tool, and it has 3 modes, right? Rotary hammer, hammer, and drilling. And this one is twist pretty easily. It doesn't have any issues like the other tool in the previous episode where for some reason it can't get to hammer mode. But this tool, you can go from, you know, it has indents that pretty much lock into place, right? So this right here is variable mode or variable lock, which kind of helps you position the bit in case you're using it for chiseling or something like that and you need it in a specific spot. But this right here is drill only, right? So you're only getting a spinning action and no hammer action. This right here is just straight up hammer action, right? So that's what you really get with this tool. So seeing how big this tool is and all the vibration and stuff like that with all the marketing and how hard it hits, does it stand up? Let's go find out. I hope y'all caught those numbers because those numbers seem to go by really fast, okay? So let's go take a look at the recap of the performance test, okay? So we took this 2915 tool and paired it with a high output XC 8.0 fully charged battery and ran the test, okay? So the first run, it was 12.22 seconds. Second run, 11.70 seconds. And on third run, 11.75 seconds, okay? Taking an average of 3 runs, it was 11.89 seconds, okay? So, this is still in the SDS Plus class, and the impact force is 3.6 foot-pounds, which is a lot compared to this size, or for this size. And then it is 4,600 BPM and 800 RPM. Remember, all of this stuff is no load RPM or specs, right? So the weight of this tool, you're coming in at close to 9 pounds at roughly 8.9 pounds for the tool only. So imagine when you're using it with a battery, it's probably going to be a little bit heavier, okay? And if you were going to buy a dust extraction system for it, it has a dedicated dust extraction system, or dust extractor kit, which you can get, which is 2915-DE, okay? So with all those numbers, where does it stack up on the leaderboard? Let's go take a look. It puts this tool with the score of 11.89 in first place on the leaderboard, beating out the Makita XGT GRH07 or HR007 for other parts of the world, which is the 40-volt XGT tool, which has been in first place since episode 6 of this series, okay? So let's go take a look at some of the numbers on maybe why some of that stuff may work out, right? So just taking a look at the leaderboard, if you go take a look at the impact force, which is the biggest differentiating factor here, the impact force of this 2915 tool has 3.6 foot-pounds, which is way more if you compare it to other ones on the leaderboard than everyone else, right? So the Makita XGT tool that was in first place only had 2.7, which then even the Milwaukee drop motor style with the 18-volt high output battery, which we tested, which is a 2912, had an impact force of 2, right? So we're going from 3.6 on this 2915 to the Makita XGT one, which is 2.7, and then the drop motor 18-volt one, M18 2912, which was 2. All right, so the Bosch one, which is currently in third place, the GBH18V, only has 1.9 foot-pounds of impact force. So just know that there's a huge difference in impact force on this tool compared to the other tools on the leaderboard. Go and take a look at the BPM numbers. It has 4,600 BPM compared to the 5,000 of the XGT, but the RPM of this 2915 is 800 versus 980 RPM on the XGT, right? But if you calculate the impact or the work done, which is the impact force times the beats per minute, right? This one has, this one meaning the 2915 has 16,560, right? Compared to the XGT, which is 13,500, okay? So do the numbers really add up, and does it make sense for this tool to be in first place? Most definitely the answer to that question is a yes, okay? So what can we say about this tool, right? So obviously Milwaukee's been making a lot of tools. They've been making tools for a long time, and they make a lot of tools, right? So a lot of the SDS ones we've tested so far, I think this is probably the third Milwaukee one we've tested so far. But on this Milwaukee one, you can tell if you've seen the other episodes that this tool is just bigger, right? And as you would imagine, bigger in power tool cordless arena usually means that there's more stuff in it, or the motor is bigger, or gears may be bigger, or something like that, right? And it goes to show that this tool weighs a whopping 8.9 pounds without the battery, which just means, you know, it's going to be pretty hefty, right? So one thing I can tell you immediately when you pick it up as well, this thing is hefty, and that is definitely something you'll feel when you pick it up to check out this tool, okay? So do you want to go out and buy this tool, or should you buy this tool? As I tell you in all these episodes, that's a question only you can answer, mainly because you got to figure out, you know, if the power tool range, lineup, brand, batteries, all that stuff works for you. The question is, would I buy this tool again? If I was looking for a heavy duty M18 tool in the SDS class, I will definitely buy this tool again, mainly because it is the big bad boy, right? For drilling probably horizontal or down, but I would probably not buy this tool to drill up, mainly because it is a hefty tool, right? Unless the hole you're drilling up is just big and you need to make a few holes, then yes, get this tool because it'll get the job done faster and you don't have to make us, hold it up there as much. But the point is, we would go out and buy it again. And yes, or no, technically Milwaukee did not send us this tool for review. We did buy this tool with our own monies. So, take that with a grain of salt. So hopefully this video helped you guys with the questions you may have had, or if you're interested in this tool. So if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, have a great day and we'll see you guys next time.